Do you know those days when everything inside you screams not to get up? The alarm goes off, sunlight enters through the window, but none of that feels strong enough to pull you out of bed. It's not laziness, it's not complacency, it's something deeper. This video is for you, the one who carries a weight you can't even explain. For you who feels like there's something big inside, a purpose, a calling, and yet every single day you silently fight just to exist. Have you ever felt like that? Like you're stuck between exhaustion and the responsibility of being someone who was called for something greater, as if you were chosen for a mission, a divine purpose, but your body and mind simply can't keep up. That doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. A human with a soul that feels too much and a spirit that may just be carrying too much. A lot of people looking from the outside might say, "Oh, just get up, shake it off and move on." But it's not that simple when you are one of the chosen ones, because those who have been set apart for something greater feel the weight of the world on their shoulders, even without leaving their room. The calling is beautiful, but the burden isn't always. And sometimes, lying in bed all day is just the reflection of a heart that's exhausted from fighting alone on the inside. But let me tell you something, you are not alone. This video isn't just here to understand you, it's here to remind you that there is a reason behind this weight. Even this feeling of wanting to do nothing has something to reveal to you. So don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below. Tell me, have you ever felt like this too? I read every message, and believe me, there are more people like you than you can imagine. Let's walk this path together. There's a lie that many people believe without even realizing. The idea that feeling pain means you're weak, that suffering equals failure. That if you're tired, it must be because you're not praying hard enough, not being strong enough, not having enough faith. But let me tell you a truth you might need to hear today. Even the chosen ones bleed on the inside. Even those who carry divine promises cry into their pillows in silence. Having a calling doesn't exempt you from suffering. On the contrary, many times the suffering deepens because of the calling. Have you noticed that the closer you get to your purpose, the heavier the world seems to become? That's not a coincidence. They distance themselves. But what they don't see is that you're in the greatest internal battle of your life. A fight between what you feel and what you know you need to become. But listen, the fact that you're here, hearing these words right now, already proves something important. You haven't given up. It proves there's still something in you, even if it's small, even if it's wounded. That still believes, that still hopes, that still wants to rise, even if today all you can do is cry. Suffering is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you're alive, that you feel, that you have depth. The shallow don't suffer, they ignore. But the chosen ones, they feel deeply. And it's exactly that intensity that heaven uses to shape you, to prepare you, to lift you up. So please, don't blame yourself. Don't condemn yourself. If today you're in pain, know this. It's part of the process for those who have been set apart for something greater. For many people, the bed is a place of rest, a safe space where the body recharges, the mind slows down, and the day comes to an end. But for you, the chosen one, your bed often becomes an invisible battlefield. It's there, lying down, where the war begins. Not against the world outside, but against your own thoughts. It's where the voice of anxiety gets louder, where fear whispers that you won't make it, where the past keeps knocking, trying to trap you all over again. You know this place well. You know the heaviness in your chest when you wake up without energy, the blank stare at the ceiling, the soul in silence, that feeling that the world keeps turning out there. But inside you, everything is frozen, and it's in that exact moment that so many people give up. Not because they want to, but because they're just tired of trying. What no one sees is that right there, in that bed, you are fighting not to surrender. You're in the middle of a war that leaves no visible scars, but scratches your spirit. Your mind says, stay down, but your purpose screams, get up. And you, in the middle of it all, trying to survive your own calling. Do you know why? Because the chosen ones live with this kind of conflict. They carry inside them an urgency, a mission, a fire that sometimes turns to embers, but never goes out. Even lying down, even wounded, even confused, that fire is still there, and that's what disturbs hell. Because it knows, if you rise, even with no strength, you become the threat. So don't be fooled into thinking your bed is just a place of comfort. It has been a sacred ground of resistance, and every single time you choose to rise, even in pieces, heaven celebrates it as a victory. You have no idea how much strength lives inside you when you choose to keep going, even when everything inside you wants to give up. You're not weak. You're in a silent war between pain and purpose. Even in your lowest moments, you haven't given up. That means something. Chosen ones feel deeply. Your bed became a battlefield. Your mind says stay, but your purpose says rise. Even wounded, your fire still burns, and that's why darkness fears you. Because when you rise, heaven rejoices. The chosen walk through inner darkness that others can't understand. They're forged in silence, shaped in solitude. Not because heaven forgot them, but because God is refining them. Even when the skies seem closed, God is still present. He's just growing you in the dark because some miracles are born in secret. That floor where you cried, it will become your testimony. Soon, those who saw you broken will see you rise. You feel everything deeply because you were made to. You carry a divine sensitivity, not as a weakness, but as a gift from heaven. You sense pain in others, feel shifts in the atmosphere, read heavy hearts behind smiling faces. That's not fragility, that's spiritual discernment. And yes, it makes you vulnerable, but it's also what makes you chosen. You were set apart because you feel what others ignore and see what others can't. That sensitivity may isolate you, but it also prepares you for your purpose. Feeling deeply is not a flaw. It's proof that God chose you to reach places no one else can. When everything feels stuck and you're frozen in place, remember, inertia doesn't define you, your calling does. Even the greatest prophets had moments of silence, stillness, and despair. But God was still working, even in the dark. This pause you're in, it's not the end, it's a sacred preparation. Don't let this season steal your identity. You are chosen, called, and strong, even when it doesn't look like it. And yes, even wanting to give up is human. Even Jesus in Gethsemane felt the weight of his mission. The desire to quit doesn't make you weak. It means you understand how real the battle is, not just in the body, but in the soul. You know what's most beautiful about this? That even in the face of the desire to give up, the chosen persist. Even when everything screams stop, they find within themselves a spark that still resists. A fire that never goes out, even if sometimes it feels like just a flickering ember. Giving up is a thought, but rising is a choice. And that choice, no matter how hard it is what defines who you truly are. So if today you feel like giving up, take a deep breath and remember, you are not alone. God is with you in every step, every battle, every tear. And when the urge to give up comes, let it pass. Don't surrender, because what's waiting for you after the storm is far greater than any desire to quit. You were chosen to win, to endure, to transform. Even when the urge to quit feels overwhelming, your strength is greater. It sounds simple, right? But for someone at rock bottom, for someone feeling the weight of their soul crushing their chest, getting up is an act of war. It feels like every muscle, every fiber of your being is screaming, just stay down. As if the whole world is conspiring to keep you still. And yet, you choose to rise. That's not weakness, that's not luck, that's courage, that's resistance, that's war. Because getting up when everything inside you says give up is a victory, a silent triumph the world doesn't see, but heaven celebrates with joy. Every time you step out of bed, every small step forward is a battle won. Every step you take is a war you're winning. Getting up is an act of war, and you are a warrior. Sometimes the greatest pain doesn't come from what you feel, but from those who don't understand. Have you ever felt like the world just doesn't get what you carry? Like no one sees the inner battles, the tears no one knows about, the invisible war happening inside? The chosen live this. They carry a weight too heavy to explain, and when they try, the words feel too small to express what the heart is really feeling. So many people only see what's on the surface, the smile, the routine, the appearance, but they miss the storm happening within. But you know what? That storm inside you is part of your journey. It's the refining fire shaping you into who you're meant to be. The world may never fully understand your battles, but your strength lies in the unseen war you fight every day. So hold on to that spark within you. Keep fighting, keep rising, because one day the storm will clear and your testimony will shine brighter than ever. You are chosen, you are strong, you are a warrior, and your story is far from over. It dwells behind tired eyes, and when the world doesn't understand, loneliness can become suffocating. You feel isolated, different, distant, as if you were on an island where only you speak the language. But do you know what's strongest in all of this? Even without recognition or understanding from others, the calling inside you remains firm. Because your fight doesn't depend on the world's approval. It depends on what God planted in your heart. And even when the world doesn't understand, you can rest in this truth. You are seen, you are loved, you are chosen, and that is enough to keep going. Loneliness may feel like an emptiness, a cold place where no one reaches, a silence so loud that even your thoughts scream. But for the chosen, loneliness isn't always the enemy. Sometimes it's the only place where the soul finds rest, where the masks fall away, where you can truly be yourself, without judgment, without pressure. It is in this quiet space that many find their truest strength. Because in loneliness, you have the chance to listen, to hear what's hidden deep inside, to reconcile with your doubts, your pain, and your dreams. The chosen learn to transform loneliness into a sacred place, a place to meet themselves and God. Because it is in stillness that many answers appear. It is in silence that faith grows stronger. It is in solitude that hope is reborn. If today you are alone, know this: you are not lost. You are being prepared, you are growing. And from loneliness comes the strength to carry on. In the midst of the deepest darkness, when all seems lost, something unexpected happens. A light appears. It's not just any light. It is the one born from that small flame you thought had gone out. It is the spark of hope, of purpose, of a calling that hasn't died. You may not see it now, you may even doubt it. But that light is there. Even if the night seems endless, it insists on shining. And do you know what's stronger? That this light doesn't depend on circumstances. It doesn't come from what you did or didn't do. It dwells behind tired eyes. And when the world doesn't understand, loneliness can become suffocating. You feel isolated, different, distant, as if you were on an island where only you speak the language. But do you know what's strongest in all of this? Even without recognition or understanding from others, the calling inside you remains firm. Because your fight doesn't depend on the world's approval. It depends on what God planted in your heart. And even when the world doesn't understand, you can rest in this truth. You are seen. You are loved, you are chosen, and that is enough to keep going. Loneliness may feel like an emptiness, a cold place where no one reaches, a silence so loud that even your thoughts scream. But for the chosen, loneliness isn't always the enemy. Sometimes it's the only place where the soul finds rest, where the masks fall away, where you can truly be yourself without judgment, without pressure. It is in this quiet space that many find their truest strength, because in loneliness you have the chance to listen, to hear what's hidden deep inside, to reconcile with your doubts, your pain, and your dreams. The chosen learn to transform loneliness into a sacred place.